5,000 people crowd New York's Polo Grounds. A great day Irish, bands playing, and thousands of enthusiastic Irish Americans and Americans to greet the Cavan and Kerry teams as they walk onto the field. An early arrival was #1 citizen of New York, Mayo-born Mayor Bill O'Dwyer, who was received in his box by Mr. Dan O'Rourke, president of the GAA, Paddy O'Keefe, and Frank McCardle. The New York police band, the swirl of the kilts and the parade, they were something new to most people present. And following these star musicians came the men of Breffni, led by John Joe O'Reilly, and Dinny Line leading the pride of the kingdom. Two fine bodies of men, cognizant of the fact that they were making history. And as I look down on this scene of splendor, the crowd and team do honor to the national anthem. Famous Jim Farley is over there, but the stage is set. Mayor O'Dwyer throws in the ball and the game is on. Cavan are first to attack, but Kerry settled down better in the early stages, and after a short bout in the defense, they go into the attack. He sends it across the goal mouth. Garvey is in position, but as he crashes to the net, the whistle goes to give him a free, which is sent over by Gig O'Connor for the first score of the game. Kerry followers smiled. Later they laughed, but as the hour went on, the story changed. Back came Kerry, and Garvey, in one of his many solo runs, outpaced the defense and sent in a hard goal. With the score then, Kerry 1-1, Cavan no score. This was soon to be changed, and while Ty, John Joe O'Reilly, Brady and company worked their way towards the Kerry goal, Donoghue was awarded a free, and Cavan start their total. But it was still a case of Kerry on top. Garvey started a solo run, sent the ball across to Frank O'Keefe, who tussles for it in the air with Paddy Smith. O'Keefe falls to the ground. He passes it out to Dan Kavanagh. And then Doonan of Cavan comes in and clears out a magnificent clearance. Back come Kerry again. Eddie Dowling dodges and battles his way past the Cavan defense and sends a rasper to the net. Cavan have their moment now, and the Kerry backs, with their baseball caps, are under pressure. A clearance by Johan paves the way for a Garvey solo, and yet another Kerry goal. By this time, many fans were wondering just how Cavan got to the final. They soon found out, but it was Kerry with a Kennedy point who scored next. A close-in free gives Cavan's man of the match, Peter Donoghue, another point. Out in midfield, Duke of Cavan solos his way along the field. He passes the ball into Ty. He gets it back again. But as he starts another Cavan attack, Dinny Line of Kerry clears out with another point. Players watch anxiously as Kerry suffered a severe blow and John Kerry O'Donnell escorts the injured Dowling to the line. Cavan are really going in style and showing pace and combination and invade the Kerry line. First, Dan O'Keefe saves a hard one from Donoghue at the expense of a point. Then Stafford finishes the Higgins shot to the net. Cavan are indeed jubilant now, but more is to come. And as Higgins works his way through into a position for another goal, resurgent Cavan takes the lead. John Joe O'Reilly starts yet another Cavan attack. Ty collects the ball, sends it into Higgins. Higgins dodges past one man, sends to McDyer. McDyer gets ready to shoot, but he's foiled. He gets the ball again, and back it goes to Donoghue, but Dan O'Keefe is not easily beaten in the Kerry goal. And so, a few moments later, half-time came, with Cavan holding on to the lead, and the score standing Cavan 2-5, Kerry 2-4. The players left the field at the interval, and we enjoyed the music of the band. Kerry were all out to level things after the interval, but the Cavan defence was sound. Time and time again, they repelled an attack. Star of these clearances was Doolan. Cavan swung back into the offensive again, and following a free, Donoghue did the honours once again. But Kerry were not beaten. And as they hand passed from O'Keefe to O'Connor, Gig O'Connor was fouled. And from the free, he sent over for another point. It was hard, fast football after that, with Cavan doing all they could to hold their lead and Kerry all out to tear it down. Yes, it was great stuff, with the play going from one end to the other. At this stage, it was anybody's game, and indeed anything could happen. Duke had the match to himself for a few moments as he went away off on his own. A brilliant bout of hand passing with Duke, Stafford, McDyer and Donoghue produced another point for the North. And Jerry Arthur smiles as he waves his flag. Again, Cavan came into the attack with Higgins on the scoring mark once more. 4 points divided the sides now. Cavan 2-11, Kerry 2-7. The Kingdom fought back, and in a welter of excitement they crowded round the Cavan goal. O'Keefe got the ball. He sent it back to Teddy Sullivan, who took a shot, but it hit the crossbar, for it was only a matter of seconds until referee Martin O'Neill blew his final whistle. And so ended the All-Ireland final of 1947 with Cavan the champions. The crowd came out to cheer off their heroes. And with Cavan glorious and happy in victory, and Kerry brilliant in defeat, the greatest chapter in Irish sporting history came to an end.
Come with me to Croke Park, not on a final day with its colourful cheering throngs, but on the eve of such an occasion. See the arena in all its naked splendour. Those last-minute details. Groundsman Jimmy Curran lining the pitch, and so following in the footsteps of his father, Chicky Curran, to whom so much of the credit for the present fine sod is due. The Hogan Stand, a monument to a patriot. A structure which symbolises the outlook of the Gaelic Athletic Association. Is a gavon a dún variag mi hall o Hogan. And as we look at modern O'Connell Street, with its lines of traffic, we cannot but recall that it was from the ruins of this torn and battered street of 1916 that Hill 16 was built. The big day, cars, lines of people outside Croke Park, many there through the night. Each of the Dublin train termini contributed its quota of enthusiasts from north, south, east and west. And in proof that the game recognises no boundaries, from Belfast, Armagh, Tyrone and other such censors come lines of special buses. The children, always interested in the colourful, in the spectacular, take part in the preparation scenes too, as cheer squads to encourage the travellers on their way. And the dealers in colours of the match, hats, badges, were decked in their paper and ribboned finery. By 1:30, crowds were clamouring for admission, but with over 74,000 people already inside, the gates had to be closed. Many of those locked out rushed to nearby houses to get some glimpse of the game, if only through the radio. Only once before did so many people see a game in Ireland, and those who came early were glad for two reasons. Number one, they got in. Number two, they saw the lads from Tyrone and the boys from Dublin contest a very interesting minor final. Taka train the nation come on lower class Gael, preve he go dangan ang akunyan airan. Agus a salahir ka haimshire of line agus shimshi dukasaka daeshog no thira. The first half of the minor game was closely contested, and at half-time the sides were level at 3 points each. However, Tyrone made full use of the wind in the second half, and outplaying their lighter rivals, once again brought the minor title to the mountains of Pomeroy. Our American cousins were with us too. Men like Tom McNamara, John O'Donnell, Paddy Grimes, men whose efforts had done so much to make last year's final such a success. We went to them in 1947, they came to us in 1948. Gradually, the ceremony was moving towards its climax. Mr. Sean T. O'Kelly, the President of Ireland, and Mrs. O'Kelly arrive on the Hogan stand and are greeted. People prominent in all walks of life are watching and are waiting. Sconothira lahir idar Clare agus Tua. Then, to the strains of Irish martial airs, the Artane Boys Band starts the parade. No matter how often one sees this sight, it is ever a thrill. And here they are, the band, and then Mayo, led by their captain John Ford, and Cavan by Commandant John Joe O'Reilly. What 30 fine men they are, army officers, medical men, bank officials, farmers, clerks, students, but above all, footballers and Irishmen. His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Welsh, Archbishop of Tuam, was escorted to the field by the President of the GAA. The crowd rises, the teams face the tricolour for the national anthem. And so, any second, the crowd will let go with a cheer as the ball is thrown in, and the battle for 1948 honours is on. Cavan, favoured by a strong breeze, settled down immediately, and the opening minutes, Peter Donoghue scores a point, the first of many, but one that turned out very important an hour later. The champions from Ulster dominated the first half play. Tony Tye, Victor Sherlock and Phil Brady paving the way for scores. Bit by bit, they sent Ulster hopes high, and the West, more or less, in the dumps. Mayo attacked repeatedly, with Paddy McAndrew and Paddy Prendergast their staunchest defenders, but Cavan's defence stood solidly. Acton and Gilvary tested that defence many times, and a wide is met with obvious disapproval. For Cavan, Paddy Smith, Desi Benson and those stalwarts John Joe O'Reilly and Simon Dignan rose to the occasion. Play out in the centre of the field sees Mayo swinging into the attack. But that attack is broken up and the crowd is certainly enjoying itself. Eamon Mongie clears for Mayo. Mayo attacking once again, but once again it's Simon Dignan clearing down the field. To where Mongie clears out again and it's Mayo attacking, and just before half-time they have a narrow wide. Half-time, Cavan 3-2, Mayo 0-0. Plans are made in the dressing rooms and the band holds the stage on the field. Mayo had the wind in the second half and promptly went into the attack, and soon it was Mayo's chance to cheer, for they had a point. Back they came again, but after Langan sent to Mulderrig, Duke snapped it up and cleared up the field. But Mayo returned and had a wide. The crowd were cheering everything at this stage because the tempo was rising. Doonan takes a free, it goes upfield, and soon Joe Stafford is going on a solo run, heading straight for the Mayo goal. And it's only a matter of seconds until Mick Higgins rattles the net with the fine Cavan goal. And the crowd, well, just look at them and listen to them. Play out in the center of the field again. Mayo swinging into the attack once more. Scores came quickly and thrills just as frequent. Doonan, under pressure in the Cavan goal, tries to clear, but his shot is sent to the Cavan net. And the swaying crowd at Hill 16 is cheering as well as swaying. Back come Mayo again, and the ball is in the net once more. But all this time, Cavan remained in front, and the crowd really let themselves go. Out in the center of the field once again, it's Dignan, but he's beaten this time, and Carney sends the ball lobbing down towards the Cavan goal mouth. High fielding, good catching, all mark these stages of the game as backs tackle forwards in a dying effort to keep them out. And then the forward is brought down in the square. Referee Flaherty sends the players back behind, for this is a penalty. And Porrick Carney, with his hands on his hips, is walking up to take it. He takes it and sends it rasping into the back of the net. And Mayo are nearer Cavan, but Cavan are still out there in front. 4-4 to 4-1. 4-4 to 4-2. And then 4-4 to 4-3. All over the country the question is being asked. Can Mayo catch Cavan? Can Mayo take the lead? Can Cavan prove themselves the champions that they undoubtedly are by staying out there in front? These were the questions that were to be answered only by time. And here is the answer. Doonan to Paddy Smith. Paddy Smith of Cavan clears out into the center of the field, where Mongie of Mayo gets it, and there it is, the equalizer. And just look at the crowd, the way they cheered this scene. But all this time, Cavan are still out there in front. And Peter Donoghue has again proved himself the match winner by getting a point and putting his team in front. Cavan were the winners at the end, despite late challenges by Mayo. The crowd cheer their leaders and their heroes as the game ends. Cavan 4-5, Mayo 4-4. And so, like Paddy Riley, the Sam Maguire Cup goes back to Ballyjames-Duff. Commandant John Joe O'Reilly is presented with the cup on the Hogan stand by the president of the GAA. Well done, Cavan. Well done, Mayo. Trace Liam Liverain. And thank you both for a thrilling hour on Sunday, September the 26th. Gibbstown, County Meath, famous as a Gaelic youth hostel and situated in picturesque rustic surroundings, a setting ideal in principle and in location for the training of the county senior football team in its quest for 1949 All-Ireland honours. An area and building which had trained hundreds in their native tongue was now preparing the lads from the Royal County for their big sports tussle of the year. The team led by their trainer, Father Tully, each and every one eager to earn for his county the honour of winning an All-Ireland. In the 62 years of the Gaelic Athletic Association, 12 counties had won All-Ireland football honours up to Sunday, September the 25th, and Meath was not one of them. Would they be number 13? Superstitious? Well, let's see. From the early hours of that now historic Sunday morning, the crowd streamed to Croke Park. They came from all over Ireland. They came from all over the world. Never before had such a crowd attended any sports fixture in Ireland. Thousands came and failed to gain admission. Every possible vantage point was taken up, and some had come from a land beyond the sea to answer the call of final day. The stars of tomorrow, the miners of Armagh and Kerry, set the pace, and in a closely contested game, Armagh took their first minor All-Ireland with a team that augurs well for the future. While in the Hogan stand we noticed from New York an interested if slightly disappointed John Kerry O'Donnell, the man who did so much to make the 1947 Polo Grounds All-Ireland such a success. Ag deran o hoire, the crave pelan na manure togehead admaka. Hanig on Trishuk, La Parig O'Keefe, agus Shinnig on Taran Dorkish. In the stand sit many dignitaries, Antonishta, Mr. De Valera, and diplomatic representatives from all over the world. Ni father got a voter on the hair and agus of Antagaha, and they were greeted with a presidential salute. The arrival of the teams. Meath dancing about anxiously awaiting the start of the game. The champions Cavan, accustomed to the glamour of the day but eager too. Smiling referee Dan Ryan. The photographers get busy. Cavan, the team of recent glories, a side which set a standard in recent years. So to the parade. The Artane band leads the way to the shouts of the excited crowd. The men of Meath. The men of Cavan. His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Kine, Bishop of Meath, is escorted onto the field by Micheál Keown Father Tully. And so 79,460 people stand and face the tricolour for the national anthem, and some of the team join in the singing. The ceremonial throw-in, and then the official throw-in, and the game is on, with an early Cavan attack quickly repelled, and Meath settling down to their task in the opening moments. A determined raid on the Cavan goal. I didn't hold them, says Peter McDermott. You did hold them, says referee Dan Ryan, and Cavan's Paddy Smith takes the free. The general idea of a quick Cavan superiority was being rudely disrupted. It was Meath on top, and despite wides by Bill Hapney and others, they stayed there. Cavan fought back, and quickly they closed that early gap, much to the delight of their very many followers. They attacked again, but with Paddy Dixon playing a great game for Meath, the Meath goalmouth was saved. John Joe Riley gets the ball, passes it to Tony Tye. Tony Tye to J.J. Cassidy, but the final effort failed. Kevin Smith, brilliant, Meath, goalkeeper, clears, and in a twinkle, Meath are attacking again. But it's the turn of Cavan's Paddy Smith to clear now. Paddy O'Connell of Meath sends in a long one. It's cleared, but in a flash, Meath's captain Brian Smith has sent over a point, and at half-time the Leinster champions lead 7 points to 3. Could Cavan pull down the lead, or would Meath hold on to theirs? Well, Cavan set about it in style and quickly had a point. But with Christo Hand and Paddy Dixon in such form for Meath, the Leinster men were attacking again. And so, with play veering up and down the field, the thrills came quickly. Eight points to 5, 8 points to 6, and then came those pulsating moments. Meath's Paddy Meegan races down the wing, dodges his way through, a hard shot towards the goal. Morris saves, but Bill Hapney is in, and the ball is in the net for a goal that put Meath on the highway to football honors. The crowd, the team, all Meath seems to go wild. But in a twinkle, it was the chance of Cavan, for Cavan had a goal by Mick Higgins, who sent in an unsavable shot. Yero Ga Kulina Franish. 1-8 to 1-6. Only 2 points dividing these next-door neighbours, and the excitement was intense. However, with the man who staged the comeback, Jim Carney, playing a fine game, Meath kept their lead. Not all their raids were scores. Some went wide, others repelled by J.J. Riley, Paddy Smith and P.J. Duke. So a county rich in the long history of Ireland, Meath of Tara's Hill, was set to win the most coveted honour in Irish sport, the chief prize of an association which has for years played a leading part in the national life of the country. Meath were playing like champions, and brilliant Paddy Connell added another point. Umadakasa, Balair Gran Meath Ulcum Keen, Agus Bayakari the hard road. The hard road to the final had aided Tipperary in their hurling test. And now the great battles of Leinster were helping Meath. Back they swept into the attack, but again the Cavan defence, which stood up well against these repeated onslaughts, drove them back. John Joe O'Reilly, always playing a captain's part, clears for Cavan. Bill Duke gains possession, and he too clears. Passing movements don't foil Cavan this time, and Dixon wins a race for possession in the centre of the field. And as the scoreboard read, 110 to 1-6, the final whistle sounded. From all angles, the Meath followers pour into the ground to cheer their heroes as Cavan sporting players say, well done to their counters. Attention turns to the stands, where the thousands await the presentation of the cups. First to Armagh's minor wing forward captain, Blaney, and then Micheál Keogh presents the coveted Sam Maguire trophy to Meath's Brian Smith, with Peter McDermott as a smiling colleague. And so, with the cup held high, Meath leave Croke Park, All-Ireland football champions for 1949.
Back in the 1880s, the Gaelic Athletic Association was founded with the fostering of Ireland's games as one of its chief objects. It was an association destined to play a major part in the national life of the country. Time and endeavour have deemed that now in 1950, the GAA occupies a leading place in the life of the nation. Early morning in Dublin on Sunday, September the 24th, was just another day. Even Croke Park is something of a deserted village, but gradually the scene is changing. Trains from all over pour into the stations. O'Connell Street becomes a steady stream of the passing parade. By your colours, colours of the match becomes the cry of the city. Hats for Louth, hats for Mayo. Every county in the country is represented as a throng heads for the ground, and the queues stretch outside the gates. And even here, the enthusiasm becomes obvious. Behind the scenes, there is drama. At the opening of the season, every footballer in Ireland had a hope that he would play in the final. Hundreds were doomed to inevitable disappointment, but after club games, the inter-county tussles, the inter-provincial semi-finals, the Louth and Mayo teams have survived the rocky road to Croke Park. The youth have their moment too, as Kerry and Wexford contest an All-Ireland minor final that sparkled with good football, a contest that augurs well for the football future of these counties. Lads like Brosnan and Sheehy, sons of famous footballers of the kingdom, paved the way for a Kerry victory, with Wexford's Culleton, Doyle and Jordan playing a leading part in an effort to take the title to Wexford. Sia Kimtha, vi cliha crave na manure arawas, ac bele aron sus, come bua, eg winter kiri. And so to the big game itself, culminating point in the 1950 Football Championships.
Louth, the county which contested the first ever All-Ireland. Simon Dignan, cabin star of many games, but today the man with the whistle. The photographers and Mayo, pride of the West, intent, like their opponents, on victory. The boys of the Artane Band, that ever gay and colourful parade, Mayo with Sean Flanagan proudly leading his men of the West, and Louth led by their captain Tom Conlon, accompanied by a mascot, no doubt the envy of every lad of his age in Croke Park. Joel bin the Thire, Peladore Louis agus Wio, agus for Brown Slua Harling on Clear, go Parker Croaking. Swinging into the center of the field, the scene is truly set. And as the teams face the tricolour, the crowd of over 76,000 stand to attention for the national anthem. Most Reverend Dr. Quinn, Bishop of Kilmore, is escorted to the field, throws in the ball, and the tussle is on. In a matter of seconds, Nicky Rowe, one of the men from RD, had Louth the point in front. But then, after a series of raids and counter-raids, the Mayo men equalized after 8 minutes. Excitement, if not the standard of play, runs high as a minute later, Mayo lead 1-1 to 1 point. The West had gone further ahead before Louth got going, and in a strong bout of pressure, Hubert Reynolds sends to Roger Lynch, but Mayo's Paddy Prendergast punches clear, and as one of their men of the match, Eamon Mongie, adds bite to the clearance, the situation is saved. Mayo's Carney starts a movement, but Berry-wearing Pat McCardle beats him, slips, recovers, and sets Louth attacking, all quicker than you can say. The ball has gone wide. Favoured by a good breeze, Louth tests the Mayo defence repeatedly, but shots are not always as accurate as the kickers would like. John Boyle sets Louth attacking again, but Eamon Mongie breaks it up. Now it's the turn of Pat Markey to set the wheels moving. Such pressure is bound to bring results, and goalkeeper Durkin has no chance as Rowe rockets one into the net. The midfield players and Mayo have their moments, but it's still Louth on top. A point to narrow the gap. This was real excitement. Reynolds sells a dummy, but Durkin saves. But in the 29th minute, the sides were level, 1 goal and 3 points each. Could Mayo's defence hold out? In a flash, the answer came as the Leinstermen forged ahead with another point, and they maintained that narrow lead right up to half-time. In the first half, the football has been scrappy. But with scores even all the way, this was forgotten by most in the tenseness of the situation. It is truly anybody's game as they start the second half. Despite playing against the breeze at this stage, Louth forged further ahead with a point to the delight of their huge following. With the pressure really turned on, Mayo's Sean Wynn makes a dramatic full-length save, and seconds later watches another shot go narrowly wide. Gradually, however, Mayo are settling down, and the forwards take their opportunities. Notably, Mick Flanagan's goal, a death blow to Louth's hopes, but a stimulus to the Mayo lads. Dixon and White race for one near the line. Flanagan sends through. The mighty Tom Langan centres a grand one, but Louth's Jim Tufts clears it, only to find Corey Carney well positioned to renew the western onslaught And Mick Mulderrick snatches it up and sends it high and straight over the bar for Mayo's 5th point. 2 goals and 5 points to 1 goal and 6. A tally which is really the final score. But the game is not over by any means. Here comes the football we had expected. Here are those final thrills. Only 2 points in it and Mayo in front. Louth battle back, but find a Joe Gilvary from Killala's Broad Bay foiling their bid. MacDonald clears for Louth. Regan speeds it up after a struggle and sends to Roger Lynch. His dramatic shot for a winning goal has wind beaten, but it is narrowly wide. Louth, with Hubert Reynolds trying hard, struggle on gamely against a team that has found its feet in grand manner. Mayo takes... This one looks like a goal, but Mick Byrne gets his toenail to it to save the net. So, with time ticking away and Mayo playing with rediscovered confidence, they maintain their lead. The big heart of the wee county is obvious as Frank Reid and others try to rally. But when the final whistle sounds, Mayo have won their 2nd All-Ireland title by a display of dash and courage that becomes the champion. Yes, the West is certainly awake. Players are cheered and cheered in victory and condole with in gallant defeat as the crowd storms in from all possible angles. And then eyes turn to the Hogan stand. Mr. McFerrin, the Vice President of the GAA, presents the cups to Sean Flanagan of Mayo and Kerry's minor captain, Michael Brosnan. And so the curtain falls on another chapter of football history. Monamid Gakainya Havi Partakam.
The Gaelic Athletic Association proudly continues its onward march, and this 1951 has been another year of success and achievement. All over the land, grounds have been thronged for the provincial tussles, all part of the march to Croke Park on football final day, September the 23rd. From the mountains and crags, the plains and the valleys, they've come to see the game of the year. And what a glorious scene it is as we look down on the 78,201 people who have come to see the Battle of the M's. M for Mayo, M for Meath. As usual, it is the honour of the youth of the country to provide the curtain raiser as the lads from Armagh and their rivals from Kerry enthrall the crowd with the All-Ireland minor football semi-final. It's a game of keen, close football, devoid of frills, but packed with thrills as the lead changes in startling fashion. Egan Sosses Bugataatra, Ardmakaga Coolin, Kiri Coolin Awine. They match stride for stride, kick for kick, with Kerry gradually drawing to the front, but Armagh causing the Kingdom defence many anxious moments. McAuliffe, Ash and Ryan catch the eye in the Kerry line-out, while Armagh have stars in the making in Crossy, McCardle and Hanratty. How many of these minors will in a short time figure not in a curtain raiser but in the feature game? How many of the boys, eager and keen footballers, are destined to become household names in the not-too-distant future? Time alone can tell, but experience has shown that the honour will be the lot of a large proportion of them. Time ticks away. Kerry look the winners as they lead by a point, but that spirit of never say die is much alive in Armagh, and with seconds left to play, they storm into the attack. Crossy sends to the square, and the ball is crashed to the net for an Armagh victory, 2 goals and 3 points to 7 points. The field is cleared as the crowd awaits the coming of the rival senior teams. On the Hogan stand, many personalities of the political, ecclesiastical, and diplomatic worlds view the colourful scene below. Agus nirvada gadagan on Toktaran agus Bani Cali. And then the teams themselves, Mayo wearing the white of Connacht and Meath the green of Leinster. To whom will victory go? Can Meath, our football ambassadors to the United States, recover the title they last held in 1949? Or will the Mayo men retain the title they took in 1950? Referee Bill Delaney of Laois tosses the coin. And so to the parade, led by the Artane Boys Band, colourful and part and parcel of the long-established ritual of Croke Park. The men of the West, the lads from Meath. The Most Reverend Dr. Walsh, Archbishop of Tuam, is escorted onto the field by Mr. Seamus McFerrin, the Vice President of the GAA, and introduced to the respective captains. And then, as players and officials face the tricolour, the national anthem is played. And so to the throw-in, and the battle for the 1951 title is on. Mayo break away from the start, but despite their efforts, Meath are the team in the early stages. Playing with great dash and aided by the breeze, they give their followers every hope of victory as Mayo's Joe Staunton and his associates are pressed into repeated action. Tom Langan tries to get through for Mayo, but Meath's defence is rock-like. The Leinster team has scored in the opening minute, and here they come, back for more. Once more, the Meath defence stands firm. The ever-active Tom Langan gets the ball in his hand and crashes his way through for a goal that does much to put his county on the road to victory. The pace is really hot now, the football close and keen. Tegar a wio a gimmet nís faram a dacasol, it's more an yart the big winter no me force. A strong Meath attack is repelled by Sean Flanagan, whose clearance is picked up by Meath's centre-field man Des Taft, and he makes no mistake. But Mayo returned to the attack, and despite the resistance of Kevin McConnell, Tarek Carney, the Mayo man of the match, scores from a free. It's still a Western offensive, but it's without reward at first. Dixon and Nick Flanagan pave the way for Eamon Mongie to score a point. The other arena gimmet go Dean and Ish, because Kegel a wio come pussig near Vishakar Mishnak no me false. Reverses urge the Meath side to further attacks with Matty MacDonald, Brian Smith, and the inevitable man in the cap, Peter McDermott, figuring in the chief actions. But Mayo's full back line, with Paddy Prendergast settling down to his brilliant game, foil the challengers. Brian Smith and Paddy Meagher are in the thick of the fray, as always. And now for the movement that brings Mayo's second goal, as Dixon passes to Sean Mulderrig. He gets the ball through to Joe Gilvary, and he sends through his goal to make the half-time score. Mayo, 2 goals and 3 points. Meath, 8 points. There was speed and plenty in that first half, but did it rival the dash for freedom, which gave the crowd an interval laugh? But it wasn't long before the serious business was underway again. The second half is on, with the writing on the wall as far as me are concerned, but with that undying spirit they refuse to read it, and despite further arrears come battling back. Yes, it's Mayo's day of victory, for playing with greater speed and dash than in any earlier championship tie, they dominate the plucky and always battling Meathemen. This looks like a Mick Flanagan goal, but no, it's just barely wide. Here they come again. Flanagan beats me all blind, passes to the center, and he's there to take it himself. Up goes the mighty Paddy O'Brien, and down he goes. But did he fall, or was he pushed? Frankie Byrne tries hard for Meade, and from a free he narrows the gap. Paddy Meagan adds his well-placed kick. But soon, Mayo take up the attack once more for Joe Gilvary, despite the attentions of the back, to send over the bar. It's homeward bound for hundreds now, even before the final whistle. And when this does go, it's a signal for the crowds to surge onto the field to cheer the victors. And while praising the winners, let us not forget the great sportsman of Meade, defeated yet honored too. While on the Hogan stand, Mr. Vin Donoghue, a vice president of the GAA, presents the Sam Maguire Cup to Sean Flanagan. And as the crowds look on, the Mayo officials are happy with the smiles of victory. The story of the 1952 All-Ireland football final is a tale of two games. So, first of all, let us flash back to Sunday, September the 28th at rain-soaked Croke Park, where the terraces and stands are thronged by over 64,000 people who have come to see the tussle. Without delay, the teams are out. Firstly, Mick Higgins and his men from Cavan, the Ulster champions. Then Paddy Meagan and his Leinster champions, the stalwarts from the Royal County. Referee Sean Hayes of Tipperary tosses the coin, retrieves it, and soon the parade is on. The Artane Boys Band leading the pipers, and then on the right Meade, and on the left Cavan. Their Excellencies Octaron Maheran and the Papal Nuncio, Most Reverend Dr. O'Hara, arrive on the Hogan stand, and Dr. O'Hara is escorted to the field and introduced to the captains. The parade over, the crowd stands to attention as the national anthem fills the air. Then His Excellency the Papal Nuncio sets the game in motion. Despite the conditions, the football is interesting. First to attack are the Cavan men, but before long their defence comes under pressure, and fullback Phil Brady is seen in one of his many spectacular clearances. This one is too high even for him as Meath take an early lead. Soon the play switches to the other end. Mick Higgins sends in a low free. Tony Tye gathers it, and the ball rattles the back of the net, putting Cavan in front with 1 goal to Meade's 1 point. At this stage, play is close and hard. Des Tapp opens up a Meath attack, but the effort is foiled, and the Ulster men are on the offensive again, with Victor Sherlock sending over a point. There's nothing in it now, with the Leinster men settling to the task better, and gradually the gap is narrowed. Is Brewer on Comotas A, Kegwell on Talov Slime. Paddy Meagan, expert on frees in the drawn game, sends over a Meath point. The Cavan team get moving again. Pat Carolan passes to Heatherton, but he is fouled. Mick Higgins comes up to take the free, but there's many a slip, and this is one of them. Fitzsimon sends one over for Cavan. Tony Tye passes to Edwin Carolan, who's tackled by Connie Kelly, but Carolan gets his kick in. They're going hammer and tongs now, and Lee Maguire is bottled up as Meath swarm into the attack. The Meath men are all out now, but approaching halfway in the second half, they are dealt a severe blow as the Cavan attack finds J.J. Cassidy crashing home a goal to lead the score. 2 goals and 3 points for Cavan, 5 points for Meath. Cavan's captain tries to get through, but Brendan Maguire foils him. Paddy Meagan shot for a point rebound, and in comes Cavan's Lee Maguire to clear. Now things really begin to happen. Meath are trailing Cavan by a goal. Kevin McConnell repels the Ulstermen, sends to tap, and as their forwards begin to move, Brian Smith is fouled. Here comes his free. Up goes Peter McDermott, and as he punches the ball to the net, the sides are level at 1 goal and 6 points for Meath, 2 goals and 3 points for Cavan. Now Cavan are under pressure. Brian Smith centres to Paddy Meagan, and the Meath captain puts his side in front. 1 goal and 7 points to 2 goals and 3. Then Cavan come back again. Higgins to Tye. Heatherton soon sends the ball across the goal. It looks like going wide. Everybody, including our cameraman, gives up the chase of that ball. That is everybody but Edwin Carolan, who, to the delight of the Cavan followers, puts the sides level with the wonder point. There are thrills galore now as Meath fight back and force a 50. Paddy O'Brien has the chance to win the game, but the ball goes off his boot and wide, and so they both live to fight another day. Chapter 2 in the final story, another wet day. The Most Reverend Dr. Kine, Bishop of Meath, sets the game in motion, and a high ball from Mick Higgins soon has Cavan a point in front before another huge crowd of over 62,000 people. The Ulstermen are attacking again. The ball hits the upright, and while Edwin Carolan and Cassidy are there, so too are the Meath backs, who stand firm. Tye tries a hard one, but Paddy O'Brien saves it. The Meath men attack now, but are repulsed, but come in again for a point. By this time, Cavan's accuracy is showing itself, and Mick Higgins from frees is piling up the lead. He passes to Edwin Carolan. Seconds later, scores from a free. From Paddy Meagan. Here they come again. Brian Smith to Paddy Meagan. This must be the awaited goal. But no, it goes just inches wide. Kan Cabana goal kan Pussiganish. Kego will winter ni brin out. Paddy O'Brien rushes in to save this one. But Johnny Cusick, the newcomer to the cabin final team, increases the lead as he puts his name on the scroll of fame. Nobody can ever say that Meath did not come back fighting. And they score another point. But the Higgins Frees are telling their tale. Here he is scoring Cavan's 6th point. And a foul on tie paves the way for Cavan's 9th and final score. The Cavan skipper tries to engineer enough. The crowd swarms onto the field, and the Cavan team makes its way to the Hogan stand to support and to cheer their captain and man of the match, Mick Higgins, who received the cup from the GAA president, Mr. M.V. O'Donoghue. Ireland has seen many great days in the world of sport, but none can outshine our Ireland football final Sunday 1953, when the largest crowd ever to witness an Irish sports event, some 90,000 people are here. And even the spacious and ever-improving Croke Park seems to burst at the seams as portion of the crowd overflows to the sidelines. It has long been the tradition that the minor football championship final acts as a curtain raiser, and this year is no exception as the young lads delight the assembled multitude. Mayo representing Connacht and Clare in the lighter jerseys doing duty for Munster. The Southerners have impressed in their semi-final win over Louth, but today they lack the sparkle of that encounter, and sprightly Mayo, combining with the precision of seasoned campaigners, come through to win the title for the second time. Mayo 2-11, Clare 1-6. And so the big moment arrives. The senior teams are on the field. Kerry, some of them anxious that everybody gets into the picture. And here's Tom Ash to take his place. Armagh, keen and anxious to justify the great faith of their followers. Referee Peter McDermott chats with linesman Des Ferguson and Norman Allen, and gradually the traditional and spectacular pattern takes shape. The parade, the Artane Boys Band, the masked pipers, the cheering, flag-waving crowds, and the teams themselves, Armagh and Kerry. Most Reverend Dr. Moynihan, Bishop of Kerry, is escorted onto the field by GAA President Vincent Donoghue, and soon the air is filled as the voices of North and South blend in the national anthem. The great game is on, a contest in which Kerry settled down in a twinkling of the eye, but Armagh are far from happy in the opening minutes. Can it be that they're suffering from final nerves or stage fright? One thing is certain, Kerry are into their stride, and the Armagh defence is under a stern, relentless bombardment, but Kerry missed some likely scores. The Ulster backs are steady, but in the family tradition, Kerry's Jim Brosnan is ideally placed to open the scoring with a point after less than 3 minutes play.
And here comes number 2 from a free. And umpire Willie Goodison waves his flag. Armagh's goalkeeping hero Eamon McMahon makes one of his many saves. Sean Quinn fumbles for once, but Kerry's Tom Ash drives it wide. Heartened by the stand of their defence, Armagh settle down, and Mal McAvoy, in brilliant form at midfield, sends the forwards into action, and soon Jerry O'Neill sends over the Northerners' first point. This time, Tigey Lyons free hits the upright, and the back's clear. The football is good, fielding crisp and kicking lengthy. Teamwork galore, but here individuality tells its tale as Armagh's Mal McAvoy solos his way up the field. A left-footed drive is deflected to the net by a Kerry back, and Armagh lead to the delight of their followers. 1 goal and 1 point to Kerry's 2 points. There's heart and plenty in the Kerry footballers, and they swing back into the attack. This one by Jim Brosnan just misses the post. Jack Bratton's kick out for Armagh comes to midfield, and the sturdy Castle Island man Dermot Hannafin reaches skywards for the ball, and with all his might sends it into the square, and under pressure goalkeeper McMahon from Lurgan goes down but saves. After 23 minutes play, Jerry O'Neill puts Armagh in front again with a point. A lead that is theirs at the interval. 1 goal and 3 points to 5 points. At this stage, Armagh supporters are jubilant, especially this band from Portydown. On the restart, the Ulstermen are away again, but Killarney's Donny Murphy and Callum Keneally combine to foil their efforts. Roaming, brilliant John Joe Sheehan turns defence to attack, and Jackie Lyon adds to the Kerry pressure. The kingdom is dead set on its 17th All-Ireland. Armagh battling relentlessly for their first. There's no display of nerves now, but plenty of fine football, with Mick O'Hanlon doing well for Armagh. A fine catch, a good clearance by Jas Murphy. Jim Brosnan nips in, and Tigey Line sends over a hard one, but well taken point. Armagh, 1 goal and 5 points. Kerry, 8 points. It's a wide-open game now, and it's the turn of Kerry's defence to taste extreme pressure as Eddie Roach, Donny Murphy and Jas Murphy repel the waves of Ulster attacks which fail to penetrate the stone wall. Kerry lead by 2 points. Johnny Foley stops one close in, and referee McDermott orders a penalty. Bill McCurry sends it wide, and with newfound relief, Kerryman Eddie Roach prepares to kick out the ball. Oh yes, the story of the game is going for the first time by shortwave radio to Irish exiles the whole world over. Kerry are playing with all the courage and ability that's part of the history of Gaelic football. And Armagh are making history, setting a tradition for the teams of the future from Loch Ness shores. It's a game of swaying fortunes, and the record crowd cheers every movement, every kick. This is the game for which they've been waiting, and they really let themselves go. Tigey Lyons heads in the sideline kick for Kerry. But the Armagh defence of Bratton, McKnight and Gene Morgan stand firm. Búnta con cluhé am a dacasa na muinter Kiri a dull con keen. yet another Kerry attack and an Armagh clearance. Gerald Sullivan on as a sub for Kerry, opens an attack, but again Sean Quinn, playing a captain's part, stands firm for Armagh. By now, Kerry are asserting themselves. They stretch their lead point by point. Armagh rally and force the pace in thrilling manner, but the play works up in easy stages to the Armagh goal, and soon the big game is over, and Kerry have won the title. Kerry 13 points, Armagh 1 goal and 6. Pandemonium breaks loose. Everybody seems to be on the field, that is everybody except the roof walkers. Excitement runs high. Kiri Abu Adaptur as the crowd surges on the field. The Portadown people, defeated, yes. Downhearted, no. But on the stands, it's Kerry's big day, as Vincent Donoghue presents the magnificent Sam Maguire Cup to the Kerry captain, Jas Murphy. And with another crown for the kingdom, the curtain falls on a great day, everybody connected with which has a right to be proud. The north side of Dublin presents a busy scene from early in the morning of September the 26th. People from all over Ireland and from further afield head for Croke Park, for this is All-Ireland Football Final Sunday. And if the queues are long, who cares? For all are keen to see the big game, culminating point in the year's football activity. Soon, over 75,000 people are thronging the spacious arena and gazing on the field of action where, first of all, the minor final between Kerry and Dublin entertains handsomely. This truly is one of the most amazing contests ever played in this competition, for we have the Kerry boys on top early, the Dubliners closing the gap, and then the Munster lads dominating so much of the play that the closing stages seem mere formality, and the cup is surely headed for the kingdom. The Dublin defence is put under pressure in this first half as Kerry settle down in front, but by half-time they lead by only 6 points to Dublin's 1 goal and 2 due to a goal by Dubliner Vinnie Bell just before half-time. Is Biagata Atra Umadakasa agus tá léir a heag buclí blaclia go bhfuil chaptaní arunta. The second half is hardly on before Dublin goalie Brady saves Lynch's penalty. But Cullity is in for a goal for Kerry. Heartened by this, Kerry press again, but Bohan foils the effort. Kerry press again, and Cullity adds another point despite the efforts of the Dublin defence. But while Kerry press, their reward is not as big as it might be. Lynch sends a ball in near the goal, but Dublin's Cronin clears and relieves a dangerous situation. Then came those last hectic thrills. 5 minutes from the end and Kerry lead by 5 points. Here comes Dublin's goal by Farnan. Seconds later, Bell takes a free and Kavanagh has the ball in the net for a 1-point lead and for an amazing victory which gives the Metropolitans the minor double of hurling and football with the score 3 goals and 3 points to 1 goal and 8. The crowd, recovered from this thrilling finish, concentrates on the ever-colourful pre-match splendour. The Artane Boys Band, the senior team, the title holders and champions of Munster, and Meath, the holders of the Leinster crown. Most Reverend Dr. Kine, Bishop of Meath, is escorted onto the field by Mr. Vincent Donoghue, the President of the Gaelic Athletic Association. The introductions to the captains, Meath's Peter McDermott and Kerry's John Dowling. And so to that inspiring scene of the playing of the national anthem. So the game is on, the battle between the 1954 Kings of Football from Royal Meath and the Kingdom of Kerry. And as the cameramen scatter in their various directions, Meath swing into an attack that is repulsed by a Kerry defence which is to endure a busy hour and stand many trials. Here's an excited four-legged spectator so keyed up he wants to get into the game in which Kerry go down to register their first point and continue to press to such an extent that Meath's goalkeeper Patsy McGearty is challenged but ably assisted by Micheál O'Brien. Kerry press on in their bid to retain their crown. Paddy Sheehy shakes off Meath's Kevin Lenihan, but John Joe Sheehan's shot goes wide. In a flash, Meath are attacking and Matty McDonnell has sent over the equaliser from an awkward angle. Colm Keneally's clearance is fielded by Sean Murphy, but back come Meath. Tom Moriarty sends one that's good for height. There's close play now, but you can't pick that ball off the ground. And Paddy Meegan sends over a point to put Meath ahead. And while Kerry sally forth, not only to equalise but take a point lead, the Meath men rattle up a merry sequence of points. And to Jim Brosnan. But Paddy O'Brien crash dives to block the kick. And soon the play swings to the other end to continue that series of Meath points. Half-time is fast approaching. Sheehan beats Meathman McGearty with a low-shotted goal, and at half-time Kerry lead 1 goal and 5 points to 7 points. This year there is an interval with a difference, for we have the pageant of the 4 green fields depicting Mother Ireland calling her sons to her from the 4 provinces. Accordis Accorguela, I speak for one Ireland, Ireland one. North, south, east, west, Leinster, Munster, Connacht, Ulster, the hills and valleys of her moorlands, her highlands, her rich lowlands. One Ireland, Ireland one, era gun reint. Pageant over, Kerry come out, and so do Meath, and the bid for victory is on in earnest now. How does a goalkeeper behave when the play is at the other end of the field and his forwards are putting his team ahead with 2 points? Well, take a look at Patsy McGearty eagerly dancing about. Kerry's Jim Brosnan tries to open up a movement, but it's foiled before Meath's Matty McDonnell solos his way through to a brilliant point. McGearty, not a dancing spectator now, but playing a plucky part in stemming this Kerry rush. Meade's attack is in command and the defence stands firm. Kerry's Tom Moriarty makes his way through, but Meade's Paddy O'Brien, playing the game of his life, feels well. Further Kerry onslaughts fail too, and Meade's lines are saved, with Ned's Dernan showing his paces. The final pattern is almost set, and as Paddy Meagan takes a free, it is completed by Peter McDermott, and now Meath lead 112 to 1-6. Jim Brosnan replies for Kerry, but the final score is left to the elusive Meathman Brian Smith, who puts the final tally 1 goal and 13 points to 1 goal and 7 points. And as the final whistle sounds, Meath are the new champions, to the unbounded delight of their many followers. The game goes down as a triumph for Meath, led by their captain, the man with the cap, Peter McDermott, who receives the magnificent Sam Maguire Cup from the GAA president on the Hogan stand. And so the curtain falls on the 1954 Major Championship campaign. To September 25th, final day with just over 87,000 people, setting a new record for any sports fixture in Ireland, and is traditionally the case. The minor final was the curtain raiser with plenty of sparkling football. Tipperary, with the hoop, endeavouring to add the minor football title to their already won hurling crown, and Dublin anxious to set the headline for their seniors. As matters turned out, the Leinster lads won, but the headline was not by the seniors. There was some lovely football in the opening game, such as that goal by Tipperary's Maroney. The Dubliners had to battle hard for the win, but the Tipperary boys, notably Tobin, Stapleton and Boland, did well. Dublin's youth looks promising too, for in young Heron, Lanahan, Burgess and Doherty, there are surely stars of the future. Boland points for Tipperary. That was just before the interval when Dublin led 2-2 to 1-2. Soon after the restart, Dublin had a spate of goals that put them on the way to victory, and there's number 1. Dublin goal, but back come Tipperary, and Boland fists one to the net to put the Tip lads there with a chance. But it's only just a chance, for at the final whistle, Dublin have won their 4th minor All-Ireland. The president arrives for the senior game. The Dublin team comes on the field. Maurice Whelan, Carl O'Leary, Seamus McGuinness, and the lads from the kingdom, led by their captain, John Dowling, Sean Murphy, Tom Costello, Dennis O'Shea, and their trainer, Dr. Eamon O'Sullivan. Dublin captain, Dennis O'Mahony, and the skipper from Kerry, John Dowling. And so to the parade, the Artane Boys Band, the Pipers, and the lads from Dublin. And the giants of football from Kerry. Most Reverend Dr. Moynihan, Bishop of Kerry, and Dr. Fitzpatrick of Dublin are escorted onto the field by GAA President Seamus McFerrin. The introductions to referee Billy Goodison and to the captains, and then the national anthem. the game is on. And before the band could get off the field, Kerry were in the attack to such an extent that Tigey Line had sent over the first point of the game for Kerry. The Dubliners swing back into the attack. Kevin Heffernan gets the ball, solids his way through, but sends this one wide. Here's Heffernan again, and across to help the Kerry man comes Mixie Palmer. His shot is blocked down by Kevin Heffernan, who sends a short one to Haughey. Haughey sends it across the goal mouth, but Kerry's Jerome O'Shea is too strong for the rest of the Dublin attack, and he clears for the Kingdom. Mixie Palmer betters Snitchy Ferguson. John Dowling gets the ball. But soon Dublin are back for a point from a free by Snitchy Ferguson. Cyril Freeney takes a shot and it hits the car. Now it's Kerry in the attack again. Tigey Line in possession. And this one just barely misses the goal. Tigey Line racing out now, catches the ball. Is tackled by Dublin's Mick Moylan, who dribbles up the wing and left-footed clears for the City people. But Kerry are back and Tigey Line has sent over another Kerry point. High to Boyle for Dublin, and Boyle takes a shot, and it is a point for Dublin. Tigey Line increases the Kerry lead, and from the kick-out there's a midfield tussle in which Ollie Freeney gets in and sends the ball out to the wing between Jock High and Mixie Palmer, and the Kerry man gets the better of the tussle. Dublin's Dan O'Mahony clears under pressure, and at half-time the Kingdom leads by 5 points to Dublin's 3. And for entertainment at half-time, the Artane Boys Band. From the restart, John Dowling fists the ball out to Tigey Line. Tigey goes soloing up the wing, chased by Dublin forward Jock Haughey, who blocks down the kick. But soon Kerry are attacking again, and here comes Jim Brosnan, who has flown in from New York, and he's flying through the Dublin defence to send over the first of his 2 vital points early in the second half. Here's Jim Brosnan again, and there's his second point. Kerry 7 points, Dublin 3 points. Mick Moylan clears for Dublin. Then Nicky Marr takes a sideline kick. John Cronin makes one of his spectacular clearances to the cheers of the Kerry followers. But there's a Dublin point to narrow the gap. And to increase the lead again, the Kerry men score another point. John Cronin reaches high to clear again for Kerry. Dennis O'Shea gets the ball and sends it up the right wing. Cody Sheehy's shot is blocked down by Dublin's Jim Crowley, who clears down the field. Dublin are fighting back hard now, but they're up against a rock-like Kerry defence. A wing movement that almost brings a score. Jock Haughey sends the ball dropping right down in towards the parallelogram. And it just goes over the line for a 50. Nicky Marr takes the shot, which goes to Ferguson. Ferguson across the goal. Sean Boyle has it now. He slips, and as he rises, his kick is blocked down. but it eventually returns to Boyle, who sends over for a Dublin point. Ordie Sheehy gathers the ball now and sends it in, and goalkeeper Flaherty deflects it over the bar for a Kerry point. And Tiggy Line adds yet another for the kick. 10 points to 6 with Kerry leading. Fisted shot, and it's 11 to 6 with Kerry on the high road to All-Ireland victory. 12 points to 6, and Kerry look to have the All-Ireland won. But Dublin are still fighting back with all their great heart. Kevin Heffernan gets the ball, passes it back, and a dropping ball that looks dangerous for the Kerry defence until Jerome O'Shea grabs it. Time it's Dennis O'Shea saving a dangerous situation for Kerry. And now it's Jerome O'Shea again as Dublin battle for all their worth in those last 4 to 5 minutes. A free for Dublin by Ollie Freeney, and the ball is in the net. Kerry 12 points, Dublin 1-6. Sean Murphy reaches high for this one to clear for Kerry. And it's Jerome O'Shea in the right spot again for Kerry to clear once more. Now it's John Cronin holding up the Dublin attack. And so at the final whistle, Kerry have won their 18th All-Ireland title with a stand. President Seamus McFerrin presents the Sam Maguire Cup to John Dowling, the proud captain of the champions from Kerry.
Sunday, October 7, Croke Park. It rains in Dublin, but who cares? This is All-Ireland final day, and Galway and Cork meet in the game that has the whole country talking. They come in their thousands from all ends of the country, aye, and from further afield too, to see the battle between football's giants. Each side has its quota of Gardaí, and Chief Superintendent Dick Cray, a former Mayo star, looks them over before the game, notably Eric Ryan of Cork. The curtain raiser for the senior game is the minor final, and here are Leitrim seeking their first title and Dublin in search of their third in a row. Kerry's Gus Cremin tosses the coin, and the youngsters' game is underway. Before long, the Westerners in hooped jersey, through a free by Patsy McIntyre, have replied to an early Dublin point. But soon after, Des Foley has the holders again in the lead and sets them on. The rain has made the ground slippery, and if you don't believe me, ask Dublin's Liam Foley. True, O'Donnell scores a Leitrim goal, but the traffic gradually swings all in favour of Dublin. And close to the end, Christy Leaney has another goal for them to make it Dublin 5-14, Leitrim 2-2. Presidential salute. And so, to the parade. The Artane Boys Band, the Pipers Band, and of course the battery of cameramen photograph themselves for a change. And so, to the teams, Galway in white, led by their captain Jack Mangan, and Cork with Tony O'Sullivan showing the way. The Archbishop of Tuam is introduced to the referee, to the Cork captain, and to the Galway captain. And soon the crowd is facing the tricolour for the national anthem. And so the game is on, and Cork break away with Niall Fitzgerald leading the Cork men into attack. But across comes Galway's Jack Gassan to clear his lines. And in a flash, Jerry Kerwin has sent over a point for the men of the West. And here's the Western will-o'-the-wisp, Frankie Stockwell, through for Galway's number 2. Billy O'Neill catches the ball. Fists it across to Frank Ivers. And up the field it comes to the lively, sprightly Sean Purcell, and here he comes on one of his solo runs, chased by Dennis Bernard, but this time Sean does not score. Frankie Stockwell in the Galway goal. The one-way traffic ends with Tom Furlong and a Cork point. Here comes Naily Duggan attacking for Cork. A high ball and one of his wonder saves by goalkeeper Jack Mangan. And in a flash, Sean Purcell has put Galway further ahead. Eric Ryan going through, he's grounded, and from the resulting free, Eric sends over the bar for a point for Cork. Cork coming through again, Niall Fitzgerald, and yet another point. And now a close-up of the forwards and backs. Naily Duggan dodging Frank Ivers, sending the ball goalwards. Niall Fitzgerald gets it, and with some of the backs playing He Loves Me Not, the ball goes over the bar. Close to half-time, the ball is in the net, but the score is disallowed. Galway are not disturbed by this setback and come back attacking once more. And watch for Jerry Kerwin and this Galway point. Frank Ivers back to Sean Purcell, and the Tuam sharpshooter makes no mistake as half-time approaches, with Galway leading 2 goals and 6 points to Cork's 6 points. And there's somebody in a hurry, maybe heading to these satisfied customers. Aidan Swords checks in for the restart, and watch for Niall Fitzgerald breaking away as he did at the start of the game. It's Sean Moore opening up a Cork attack. Once again, it's Jerry Kerwin coming through. He passes to Stockwell. Stockwell is opposed by Donny Sullivan, but the little lad doesn't seem to worry as he sends it over the bar for another Galway point. Back come Cork. Jack Mangan saves in the parallelogram and clears. Around this time, it looks as if Galway are sure to win, but the Cork boys have plenty of battle in them yet. And watch this one, deflected to the net for a Cork goal, and now the game suddenly becomes wide open. Jerry Daly saves for Galway. The forwards say, "Thou shalt not pass," and believe me, he doesn't. Jackie Coyle, and a point for Galway. Frank Ivers, and yet another point. And perhaps the danger has gone for Galway. Yes, perhaps. Oh, go worry dearing. Neil Fitzgerald leads an attack, slips the ball to Toots Keller, and it sizzles to the top of the net. But back comes Coyle and relieves the situation for the Westerners. Toots Keller gets this one into his hand, and it's another goal for Cork. Oh, those fingers. And as Eric Ryan sends it over the bar, only a point between them with 6 minutes to go. Sean Purcell's free hits the upright, comes back into the parallelogram, and Paddy Tyers clears. Yes, time ticking away, and Galway going further ahead. And so, at the final whistle, Galway 2-13, Cork 3-7. The crowd cheering their heroes off. The crowd going home happy and satisfied. But truly, the happiest man in Croke Park, Galway's captain, Jack Mangan, with the Sam Maguire Cup, received from Seamus McFerrin.
Just a moment. Where do you think you're going? Hey, you! Ah, well. The first Gaelic football game attended by over 20,000 people was played in Croke Park, Dublin 44 years ago. Today, Croke Park holds 4 times that number, and such is the still increasing popularity of hurling and Gaelic football that a new stand is being erected. A new and bigger Hogan stand to replace the old. Erected in memory of Miholo Hogoin agus trí chuine Yegala, a Wadavarm Hasana la Fiaulan Shin, and an Fair Henu Law the Sound, Ni Gerdas a Fihe. When we dropped into Croke Park on the morning of the football finals, we saw key man John Darcy opening the offices under the old stand for the last time. Christopher Lynch fixing the score flags. A few fast workers unloading minerals. The headquarters office closed against last-minute ticket hunters. See what we mean? And your man going up that ladder again. Meantime, into Stáisiún Droichead na Rí came thousands of Cork men, although rumour has it that 10 times as many have been living in Dublin for years, while Louth men emerged from Amiens Street in equally large numbers. We got Cmach Mohair agus an Yénacha destroyed in a Blá Clia, all meeting together for a great sporting occasion. From across the Atlantic too they came, turning the pages of history upside down with a reverse, a flight of the Gaels. A wee man from Ireland's biggest county meets a big man from Ireland's wee county. That's the Sam Maguire Cup going into the ground. Safely inside, well, inside anyway, we first see the miners. Well, yes, but won't you wait a while longer? This year's contestants are Armagh, back for the first time since 1949 to try to notch their second win in the competition, and all out for their first title in minor ranks. The lads from the Boyne Valley were quickly into their stride and were 2 goals up before Armagh got their first point. Meath were back at once, however, and Greville, Monaghan, Cahill and Drum tested the Northerners' defence. Centrefield player Clinch takes a free, and Gray adds to their title with a well-taken overhead point. But the Armagh forwards were not idle, and McGeary, Toner and Halpenny gave the Meath defence plenty to do. Here fullback Kelleher is called on to clear. However, the traffic was inclined to run the other way, and soon Greville put Mead further in front. Cahill, Hanley and Monaghan tried to burst through. Monaghan is tossed, beg your pardon, and again Greville obliges with a point which left the half-time score Meath 2-4, Armagh 0-2. Armagh attacked from the restart, but goalkeeper O'Reilly beat Armagh's McGeary in a photo finish, and Armagh were soon in real trouble. Watch out for Meath's right corner forward, number 13, Monaghan. He moves in, collects the ball, and shoots the goal which sets his team on the high road to history. There was nothing to stop Meath now, and sharpshooter Greville adds another point. And yet another, each a telling blow to the hopes of the gallant lads from across the border. And Greville also had the last word and the last point, which gave Meath victory by 3 goals, 9 points to 4 points. An son hánig uachtarán a héran, agus a láthe freisin bhí an taridachas seán ó linsigh bhuair clú agus cáil cheana mar Pelador agus Amani Corkey. Then the senior teams, Cork's Duggan and Fitzgerald, and Cork subs O'Sullivan, McCarthy, O'Shea and McAuliffe retired to the sidelines because the parade is reserved for players only, with apologies to John Gregson. And here they come, Louth, O'Brien, O'Neill, Conlon, White, Coleman, Bean, Riley, Cunningham, O'Donnell, Lynch, MacDonald, Rowe, Smith, Flood and Meehan, and Cork led by Duggan, Driscoll, Kelleher, Ryan, Harrington, Moore, O'Sullivan, Power, Furlong, Murray, Bernard, Henson, Gould, Fitzgerald and Goulding. Most Reverend Dr. Lucy Bishop of Cork, who is to start the game, is escorted onto the field. His Lordship greets referee Patsy Geraghty, Louth Captain Dermot O'Brien and Cork Captain Neely Duggan before all eyes turn toward the national flag for our own Levine. So this is it. Everything ready? Oh no, not you again. What's up there anyway? Ah, so that's it. The camera crew. All right then, let's go. From the throw-in, Cork get right down to business, and Jim Red Meehan is the first to allow the defender to clear his lines. But the rebel county are quickly back for another try, and from a free, Garda Eric Ryan opens the scoring with this point. The battle was joined in earnest right away as Louth attacked, and Jim Rowe equalised amid scenes of wild enthusiasm. But before the excitement had died down, Neely Duggan put Cork in front again, only to find that Jim Rowe was only too willing to match point for point. Before we could say the teams are level again, Seamus O'Donnell put Louth in front for the first time. At the other end, the ball goes to Duggan, then to Toots Kelleher. He cuts in, tries to fist over a point, but a valueless 50 was the only result. However, teammate Eric Ryan pointed soon after, and then star marksman Kevin Bean put Louth ahead for the second time. Sean Cunningham gives an opening. Dan O'Neill puts Louth ahead 2 points in front. Everything looked fine for the border men, but watch Cork captain Neely Duggan as he steadies himself for a surprise goal at the far end to put the rebel county in front for the third time. And again Cork surged into attack. Duggan to Kelleher, he to Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald over the bar to put Cork 2 points in front at half-time. The Artane Boys Band entertained us during the interval, while anything could be going on out there. Cork started off again, determined to stretch their interval lead, but now the defenders Stephen White and Patsy Coleman blocked the way. However, stretch the lead they did with the help of Garda Paddy Harrington. But Louth were only warming up, and although well policed, Kevin Bean reduces the arrears. Louth only 1 point behind. Nowhere level, says Jim Rowe, as he points from a free. We can do better than that, says Sean Cunningham, as he watches his chance and puts the border county in front again. And still Cork comes back. Eric Ryan takes a free and Toots Kelleher puts the teams level for the 5th time. And here comes Kelleher again, and Cork are back in the lead. And then it happened. Bean sends in from the sideline, and Sean Cunningham finishes it to the net. Louth are in front again. But Cork still fought. Tom Conlon clears. And then the honour falls to Jim Meehan to repulse those who would try to snatch the title from Louth's grasp. He wants to be there at the finish. And here it is. Louth are All-Ireland champions for the third time. Among our memories of this epic game will be our last look at the old Hogan stand, which honoured the memory of Gaeldam's mark. Bannacht Cruchse ar a wahe, Quedig Gael con Gashka Tra, Bannacht Cuivo Gael of Warrens were Gredabachu Slaw. The future and a brighter era lies ahead. Gomemi the Bio ag an Aum Shot Arish.
What are they looking at? Why, it's the parade of Dublin supporters from Fairview and Marino en route to Croke Park to take home, they hope, the Sam Maguire Cup for the 16th time. The date, September 28, 1958. The occasion, the All-Ireland Senior Football Final between Dublin and Derry. Is there room for all? Well, only just. And these enthusiasts are so impatient to get in that they wade the canal and so jump the queue. Dublin have a double interest in today's game because their minor footballers are also battling for an All-Ireland trophy. And as if that were not enough incentive, they have the additional one of trying to create a new record for minor titles, 6 in all. Referee Paddy Silk of County Galway starts the minor game, and although Dublin ran up an early lead, their opponents, Mayo, equalised with this point from a free by Mick Corcoran. And the same player quickly scored again to leave the Western Youths 1 point ahead at the end. However, Mayo had the benefit of a strong wind in the first half and a goodly share of the play, but they wasted some excellent scoring chances which they might soon regret. From the start of the second half, Mayo surged into attack, led by full forward Langdon. But the Dublin defence, in which Derek Jones, Holden, Kissan and Foley played heroes' parts, proved extremely hard to pierce. Fullback Holden clears for Dublin. Rowe sends it back to the goalman. Holden tries to clear again, but retains the ball too long. And Mick Corcoran is accurate with the resultant free to give Mayo a 2-point lead. Here's the turning of the tide. Kissan centres and Noel Fox of St. Joseph's Fairview finishes the ball to the net to give Dublin a 2-point lead. Then, with the dark rain clouds looming overhead, Mayo's the sun really set, as Des Foley, following a 50, got Dublin's second goal to put them 5 points in front. But despite all Mayo's efforts, this lead was just too much for them, agus the bay Turin na Clichan or clear Garcool agus Decolini, Muyo, Ocht Golini. As usual, Uchtaran the Heron, Halshe Shanti O'Callig attended the games, and he was greeted on his arrival by Most Reverend Dr. Farran, Bishop of Derry. Then a truly historic moment as the men from Derry take the field for the first time to play an All-Ireland final. Cades Mila Foilteroy. Vi kest mór le flean lei an you, on meg dire on a kunte behushke des na she kunte, lesh an brief noir the vote. The Artane boys band led the colourful parade of the teams, Dublin in light blue jerseys, Derry in white and red. Leading the Dublin team was their captain Kevin Heffernan, followed by Marcus Wilson, Ollie Freeney, Johnny Joyce and Paddy O'Flaherty, while Jim McKeever, Sean O'Connell, Hugh Francis Gribben, Patsy McLaren, Charlie Higgins and Phil Stewart lead the Derrymen. President of the GAA, Dr. Stewart, escorts Most Reverend Dr. Farran onto the field to meet referee Simon Dignan and the captains of the teams, before 73,000 people stand for Auron and Nevian. Kevin Heffernan's enthusiasm, Simon Dignan got the game going and the battle was on for Ireland's greatest prize. From the breakaway, Derry got into the Dublin half, only to find that Jim Crowley was ready and able to repulse their first attack. Within a minute, Dublin were awarded a free, and sharpshooter Ollie Freeney surprised himself and everyone else by not scoring from it, and the ball went wide. But only 90 seconds after the start, Ollie got another chance, and this time made no mistake. Dublin were 1 point in front. Then Derry surged into attack, and the Dublin posts were in danger. But here's Joe Simmons rising above everyone else, and he clears out to midfielder Yank Murray. There he is, number 9. Murray to John Timmins. Timmins upfield. Out to Paddy Hawley. A fast sprint by Paddy Hawley down the far wing, and across to Kevin Heffernan. Heffernan turns and shoots, and Dublin are 2 points ahead. But here come Derry. Phil Stewart passes to Brian Murray, and Brian, almost ignoring the presence of Jim Crowley, coolly scored a beautiful point to open Derry's account, 2 points to 1. Derry were faced with a strong wind, however, and this was very noticeable when John Timmins scored this great point direct from a 50. The clouds became very dark at this stage and rain threatened, but Dublin's St. Vincent's attack were unconcerned, and only a half minute after Ollie Freeney had scored the Metropolitan's 4th point, Paddy Farnan scored their 5th, and so helped to keep the score marker busy. Colm Mulholland takes a free, which is cleared out by Larpo. Peter Smith collects it and sends it back to Jim McKeever. McKeever makes a lot of ground before passing to Brian Mullen out at the far posts. Mullen nearly loses it, but gets it back to Owen Gribben, who, however, shoots wide. Derry mounted several attacks in this second quarter, but were just unable to finish them off successfully. But here is a chance for Ginny McKeever, and even if it took a little time, he registered Derry's second point to keep the game alive. It's time we heard from Ollie Freeney again, and he duly obliges with a well-taken free to restore Dublin's 4-point lead. Then at the canal end, Mullen sends into the goal mouth. Owen Gribben comes out with it. He passes to Sean O'Connell. But again, the ball goes wide. Then the dubious honour of shooting a wide falls to right corner forward Brian Mullen. And just to show it was not his lucky day, he repeats the sad performance. Then Brian Murray passes to Sean O'Connell, and he gets Derry's 3rd point, 7 points to 3. Johnny Boyle sends to Freeney. Freeney to Heffernan. Heffernan to Johnny Joyce. He cuts in. Will this be a goal or a point? It's neither. He just sends it inches wide. And Sean O'Connell from a 40 yards free scores a great point to reduce the leeway, 7 points to 4. And Derry come back again. Sean O'Connell sends into the goal mouth. Dublin goalkeeper Bahio Flaherty brings off a great save and follows the ball out to block Dinny McKeever with the assistance of Cathal O'Leary and Jim Crowley. As the teams went off at half-time, the destiny of senior All-Ireland honours was far from settled. Dublin certainly had the edge in attack in the first half, but they also had a strong wind in their favour, and we wondered if their interval lead of 4 points would be sufficient. Dublin won the breakaway at the start of the second half, and John Timmins passed to Ollie Freeney. Freeney back to Timmins. Timmins to Johnny Joyce. Joyce shoots and Patsy Gormley brings off one of his many brilliant saves. It comes back to Timmins. Paddy Haughey is there. So is referee Simon Dignan, and the result is a free. The taker, Ollie Freeney, of course, but this time he was out of luck. His rival sharpshooter Sean O'Connell has better fortune with this free, which leaves Derry only 2 points behind, 8 points to 6. But again, the relentless Freeney restores Dublin's lead to 3 points, and already the second half is 9 minutes old. But watch for it. Owen Gribben shoots. It comes back to Brian Mullen. He shoots. Charlie Higgins has a go, and Owen Gribben scores a goal. Derry are level, 9 points all. However, the Derry hopes were rudely shattered 2 minutes later. Desi Ferguson sends to Paddy Farnan. Tommy Doherty slips and Farnan beats Patsy Gormley. Dublin are again 3 points ahead. And the 3 points became 4 when Ollie Freeney scored from this free. And after Ollie added another, Sean O'Connell retaliated for the Northmen to keep them in the fight. John Timmins to Freeney. On to Des Ferguson. But Ollie Freeney doesn't mind, as he is presented with his 7th point of the afternoon. Then comes the final blow. The centre comes to Johnny Joyce, and he coolly crashes home Dublin's second goal, and to make quite certain of it, Paddy Farnan adds it, a finishing touch. The game was almost over, and the Dublin followers were clearly impatient for the moment to which they had been looking forward for years. But they had to wait until, from a Sean O'Connell free, Owen Gribben punched this neat point, which was followed by another from O'Connell, before Derry called it a day. But here they come. The Dublin supporters who have seen the Sam Maguire Cup elude their team for 16 years can be justly proud of this great sign. Kegar Ridge Dira Godino who's Dera, Ta Crave na Hair and Tilte Gaha Clear, Leshan Bell Suan to Socha Clachtic Sheed La Couple Blianta Anus. Here's someone with quite a problem. Ach Kegar Vui Gaha Clear and Tomshaw, Bigi Kita, Gadokik Dira Rash, Gaparkan Croki Gagun Tamalja, Ganairi and Talio Gadye.
Before the start of the Senior All-Ireland football final between Munster champions Kerry and Connacht champions Galway, the gates of Croke Park were closed on a capacity crowd of nearly 86,000 people who waited for the big game in the bright sunshine of another Sunday in a long, hot summer. As usual, the curtain raiser was the minor football final played this year between the holders, Dublin, and Cavan, the Ulster champions. Dublin, who are striving for their 5th title in 6 years, started firm favourites, but the stout-hearted Cavan boys put up a sterling fight. Sean Cohen puts on a Dublin point. Flood, captain of the Cavan team, takes a free. Phil Murray gathers it and adds another point to give Cavan a 3-point lead. And in spite of this point by Dublin's Pat Delaney, the Leinster lads, although enjoying a distinct territorial advantage, were still 1 point behind at half-time. Indeed, a feature of the minor game was the number of wides shot by the Dublin forwards, and many Metropolitan supporters had good reason to be worried at the start of the second half. Dublin swept into attack to find that the Cavan defence was quick to take advantage of any fumbling play, and soon Cavan's forwards were given a chance to show what they could do. Unfortunately, this neat combined movement came to naught. Dublin continued to do most of the attacking, however, and had the game in safekeeping well before the end. But the Cavan boys put up a strong resistance, which augurs well for the future. The final score, Dublin 11 points, Cavan 1 goal and 4 points. An son hánig uachtarán na Héireann a hailte éimean de Valera, agus a dún tamu vig hí na fuireann sinsear Ciarí agus Gaillimh sa bhór hiúil. The Kerry team on the left of the screen was led by Mick O'Connell, Jeremy O'Shea, Dwyer, McAuliffe and Sean Murphy, while Sean Purcell, Frank Evers and Michael McDonough were in front for Galway. Then the national anthem. GAA President Dr. Stewart starts the big game. The ball is broken down to Sean Purcell, who puts punch into Galway's first attack. But the strength of the Kerry backs was immediately obvious, and this was only the first of many offensives which foundered on the half-back line. Brilliant right half-back Sean Murphy kicks to full forward John Dowling, who gets the first score of the game. Kerry 1 point, Galway 0. And 1 minute later, from a Tom Long pass, Dowling had increased the Munster men's lead. Kerry 2 points, Galway 0. These intense spectators may have thought they could discern the writing on the wall, but it was early yet, and from a Sean Purcell pass, Frank Evers rushed through for a great goal to put Galway in the lead by 1 point. Now the West awakens. Dan McAuliffe takes a free, but the result was only a wide. John Dowling catches the ball. He passes to Paddy Sheehy. Then Tom Long tries to field it, but again the ball goes wide. At the other end, Sean Purcell points a 21-yard free to stretch the Galway lead to 2 points. Right full forward Dave Geaney moves in for Kerry. Greeley tackles him, but Dan McAuliffe comes over from the left to give a hand. He shoots, Jimmy Farrell saves it, but John Dowling seems to take it right out of his hands, and John Dowling is fouled. So Dan McAuliffe points his second free to leave only 1 point between the teams. Kerry continued to press, but Dave Geaney shot another Kerry wide, one of 10 Kerry wides in the first half. The much vaunted Kerry midfield of Michael O'Connell and Seamus Murphy had to give way in the early stages to Galway's Frank Evers and Matty McDonough. But if Kerry had been weak at midfield, they boasted an almost impenetrable half-back line of Sean Murphy, Kevin Coppey and Michael Dwyer. When Tygline scored a point from a free, the teams were level, and so they went off at half-time. Ké go raibh ar cover méid an sus. Ceap Morandi na go raibh muinta Ciarí ag imeart a wad níos fearr, agus go méach an bua acha in nera the dog. Jim Young got possession at the breakaway after the start of the second half, but Paddy Sheehy was taken down by Kissan a minute later, and Tygline put Kerry into a lead, which they never subsequently lost. Michael Dwyer takes a Kerry free in the shadow of the New Hogan stand. It goes to Michael O'Connell. O'Connell passes to Tygline. Jimmy Farrell punches it out. Then fullback Meade helps to clear. But again under the dropping ball is Paddy Sheehy, number 12. He shoots, but it just skirts the post. Galway's Sean Purcell passes to Frank Stockwell. Stockwell into Garrett. Now just watch this narrow escape for Kerry. Coming from the left is Matty McDonough. Up to Joe Young. But Young shoots wide. And very much to the disgust of this follower, who seems to think he could have done much better himself. Here's Joe Young again, and this time he fists a Galway point. But Kerry were not now to be stopped, and Mick O'Dwyer added this neat point immediately after Don McAuliffe's first goal. And here comes McAuliffe's second goal. John Dowling gathers about 50 yards out, sends it high into the goal mouth. Jimmy Farrell catches it, but here comes McAuliffe from the right, and Kerry are well on their way to their 19th All-Ireland title. But Galway continued to fight. Frank Stockwell rounds Niall Sheehy. But Stockwell is eventually stopped near the goal line. Then Sean Purcell, desperately seeking a goal, gambled on the ball being returned to him like this. But he shot too high and only scored a point. The midfield battle was, if anything, still going in Galway's favour. But there was always that tireless wonderman, Sean Murphy, to contend with in the Kerry half-back line. And time after time, Sean's long kicks sent Kerry's forwards massing into the Galway goal. Colleran pulls at Paddy Sheehy's jersey. But Sheehy gets it to John Dowling. John is regarded as equally dangerous and a free result. This time, Tiggy Lyon, who was married on the previous day, hits the post. Out to the far wing, but back it comes again. Mead clears for goal. Up to centre field, where Lade, number 13, moves it out. Out to Sean Purcell. Purcell rounds Dwyer, but again, this attack was of no avail. Frank Evers to Lade. But yet another Western effort finishes outside the post. These last few scenes show that at least some of the spectators considered the game won and lost at this stage. But there was no slackening of pace until the final whistle. Ach we minter Curie a gimmert go huntoganish. Agus cé gur fridge Palidori na gaiileh godíon ó hústere. Bhí is acu agus ag coch man dachasa gur a bíd na fíro cuaig amúna na Palidori a bar on lá sé. And true to form, the player in the gap to repulse Galway's last attack was man of the match, Sean Murphy. As Murphy's kick reached Tom Long, referee John Dowling, no relation to the Kerry full forward of course, sounded the final whistle, which ended the match, and which assuredly also was only the starting signal for the jubilant celebrations which the confident Kerry men had arranged before they even came to town.